Horror Home Makeover, The Future of Fear Street Films, and Sami Curr Lives, all on this Wednesday edition of Spill the Guts.
Like it's spooky.
Hello and welcome. My name is Clint, and I am one half of the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast, which currently brings you a minimum of 18 episodes a month, including our subcast Mishmash with your host Leah Stalker of Pure Macabre, who reports information on horror happenings in the state of Michigan every other Saturday. Be sure to catch her latest episode, which released last Saturday. As for the current, today is Wednesday, October 25th, and this just in. First story of the day comes to us from BloodyDisgusting.com about a Halloween home makeover for one lucky fan. Now granted, Halloween is a state of mind all year round for most horror hounds, but even the diehards and devotees will contend that October is busy season. A time when bite-sized candy turns green, purple, and orange, when horror is on 24/7 on certain stations, and when it's socially acceptable to turn your lawns into cemeteries, crypts, monster jams, and more. Decorating can be difficult, though. Sometimes you need a second or third or fifth eye to offer some feedback. That's exactly what Hello Horror brought to the table in their Halloween special. Presented by Spirit Halloween, host Vanessa Decker obtains all the right tricks and treats to give one lucky horror fan a Halloween home makeover. Join Vanessa and the gang as they embark on a thrilling shopping spree through Spirit Halloween, one that conjures all sorts of hurdles as they turn a sunny lawn into a suburban hell. Hosted by Vanessa Decker, Hello Horror is a genre variety show that covers the spooky community. Everything from red carpets, museums, cocktails, events, games, and more. Taking the audience on adventures, Vanessa and her crew shine a light on the amazing community the genre has generated. You can stream past episodes now on Screenbox or YouTube. I will share a link to this Bloody Disgusting article, which includes the Halloween Home Horror Makeover episode, on the I Like It Spooky Horror Podcast Facebook page.
Hello?
Still alive. It's happening again.
Next up from comicbook.com is an update on the future of Fear Street Films by R.L. Stine. Back in 2021, Netflix released the ambitious Fear Street trilogy of films, which was exciting not only because of the built-in fan base of the R.L. Stine series of books, but also because the trilogy was filmed in succession and were released only weeks apart to tell a frightening storyline. With Fear Street 94, 78, and 1666 all being largely original stories as opposed to direct adaptations of the source material, there are limitless opportunities to continue the franchise, with Stine himself recently teasing that there are still plans in the works to continue the live-action franchise despite there not being any official updates. Quote, "I've done everything you can think of, and it's all so far beyond what I've ever dreamed," Stine recalled to Rolling Stone. "When we started out, I said, let's do 2 or 3 Goosebumps books. I never dreamed that it would last this long. It's all a big surprise to me. I'm excited to have a new TV show going on Disney Plus, and we'll probably do more Fear Street movies too, and that's a thrill for me." Despite Netflix not yet confirming the status of more Fear Street films, this isn't the first update we've gotten about the franchise. Back in the summer of 2022, Bloody Disgusting had reported that Netflix was very deep into developing more entries in the series. Later that year, reports claimed that Watcher filmmaker Chloe Okunu was attached to develop a new project in the Fear Street series. Given that the first trilogy of films was largely developed under a shroud of secrecy, it's no real surprise that any potential projects would also be kept relatively secret. Additionally, with this year's writers and actors strikes, it's possible that these factors could have seen development on new entries be slowed or paused entirely. This isn't the first time Stein has hinted that more Fear Street movies could be on the way, with both these most recent and previous remarks implying that Stein isn't always clued in on live-action developments on films inspired by his works. And it's that time once again to pause for station identification and hear from a group who was also inspired by the works of R.L. Stein, our podcast network, the PFPN.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
Wake up, sleepyhead.
It's party time!
Rock and roll will never die. At least not this Halloween.
Last story of the day is a report from BloodyDisgusting.com that Sami Curr lives on Screambox. Decades before Michael Dougherty released Trick or Treat, there was Trick or Treat, a 1986 horror movie directed by Charles Martin Smith that introduced the world to undead rocker Sami Curr. The cult classic has never before been available to stream, but Bloody Disgusting is changing that this Halloween. Cineverse is giving horror fans a whole new reason to scream this spooky season as they announce the acquisition of the 1986 horror classic Trick or Treat from Red Shirt Pictures and Synapse Films. The company will premiere Trick or Treat just in time for Halloween weekend exclusively on Screambox. The film begins streaming this Friday, October 27th, and this will be the first time the new restoration from Synapse Films has ever been seen. Trick or Treat blends the best of the 1980s metal scene with the decade's tongue-in-cheek take on the genre. Nearly 4 decades after its release, the film's nostalgic nuance still resonates with Cinelipsis, declaring Trick or Treat spells fun with an awesome story of fandom, Satanism, and the power of 80s music. Following the death of his heavy metal idol, a bullied teenage boy inadvertently discovers a way to resurrect the rocker. After hearing the news of his hero's death, Eddie Weinbauer, played by Mark Price, finds himself in possession of a one-of-a-kind item, the final recording of Sami Curr. While at first the record seems like a godsend, things quickly turn when he discovers its sinister secret. Played a certain way, it has the power to bring the demonic rocker back from the dead and unleash heavy metal hell on those who get in his way. Trick or Treat was the first film we covered when I came on full-time here on the I Like a Spooky Horror podcast. Be sure to scroll through our episode list and give it a listen. Just don't play it backwards. And that is a wrap on your Wednesday news. Don't forget, you can connect with the I Like a Spooky Horror podcast on all mainstream social media platforms and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss any of the 18 different content offerings we put out each month. That, believe it or not, will soon be expanding to even more regularly scheduled programming. Join me back here this coming Friday to find out more, as well as what the next feature episode will be all about this coming Sunday. Not to mention more news on another edition of Spill the Guts.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?